go. So give yourselves a woo. Woo! Oh, y'all are good. But you gotta get the hands going too. So okay, will you do it again? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. So great to see you. Yeah. When was the last time, probably a Fun Fearless thing or something I was at, but all of you moms out there, when was the last time you got a woo? So you know what? I'm going to give you a woo this morning. Thank you for being here. So woo, we can all woo. Woo! Excellent, excellent. Well, Lisa, we are glad to have you back with us. I know you've been going through a hard time, and you're still up at your mom's, right? You're not back in bed. I am. So I know that you told me you were doing a slideshow in honor of her, and I'm sure it will be wonderful. It's like, I wouldn't even mind seeing it. I didn't know her, but it would be kind of a cool thing.
When we're done, I'll be posting it on Facebook for the rest of the family anyway. So.
Oh, you will? Oh, cool. Yeah. And then we have this lovely, beautiful young woman here, Gabby. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Delinda. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Gabby is in HNP with me. Is how we met, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of any place else because I just was real sure it was HNP, the Happy Neighborhood. And we just had such a wonderful conversation. She is such a strong woman of God and in her business and her family, and so open with her heart. So I know y'all are going to love having her here with us today. So before we get actually into our conversation, our topic today is, what does confidence look like? And I know we've talked about confidence off and on several times through the last 6 years, 5 years, because it is such an important thing. Our confidence determines everything. And so, like I said, we'll get into that topic. But as we get started, just want to remind.
Whoops. She'll be right back, everybody. And she just was going to remind everybody about the WOW conference that's going to be in August. And we have a celebrity entertainer who's going to be our keynote speaker, and a lot of lovely ladies. So I just kind of took it from where you popped out, Delinda, and you can finish.
No, you're doing great, because that's exactly what I was going to talk about, the event, just to do that. I don't know what causes that, Lisa. I'm just sitting here talking. All of a sudden, it just kicks me out. I don't know. But that's one of those things.
Internet.
And Lisa's great. She knows everything about most everything that we all do in our Fun Fearless and the events. You want to continue? Where were you? I don't know what you're in the middle of talking about.
I was just saying that we had a keynote speaker that's going to be amazing, and that we have 5 or 6 other speakers that are dynamic. We're going to have workshops and networking activities and online and in person. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it really is. And for many of y'all who know the fabulous Kathy Weaver, she will be one of our experts and speakers. And she always does such an amazing job. And if you ever want to just hang out and get to know her in person, she's going to be there. So you don't want to miss out on that. As well as our neuroscience nerd, by her own definition, Lynn Franklin, who just has such a way of telling us and helping us understand about having conversations. One of the things she talks a lot about is having difficult conversations. So instead of avoiding them, ways that we can do them and have win-win, where both sides can win. Somebody doesn't have to lose. And so we have some others. We have a featured artist, she calls herself Tag for short, but it's Terry Gustafson who's coming, and she does these amazing things with spray paint. And I'm not sure how much the hotel will allow us to have spray paint, but we're going to try to get away with as much as we can.
We may be outdoors with the spray paint.
Yeah, outdoors would be better, that's for sure. We just do have lots of things lined up. So we want to make sure that y'all, and just keeping in mind, we'll have a big blast coming up here pretty soon. But all the early bird tickets where you save $200 goes till April 30th. So that's what you want to do. And there's a payment plan. So no objections, right? Just come. So good morning, Grace. Nice to see you here this morning. So, Gabby, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, just some personal, let's get to know you stuff.
Yeah. So I am in New Jersey. We just had a little laugh about how I'm on the East Coast and how it's so cool how technology connects us around the state. And I am a personal stylist. I work with women both in person and online to help them feel beautiful and confident so they can show up powerfully in the world and in all that the Lord has called them to do. So I'm a believer and I'm married. I have one little girl right now. She is 1 year old and we are just trying to figure out the brand new toddler stage. So that has been interesting. But yeah, my passion is really to pour into women and to help impact the future generations as well and how women see themselves and how we show up in this world. So
Absolutely. Wouldn't you say so? Tell us just a little bit. So, why do you think that's so important? We'll just take it straight from the actually how you dress and how when you go to things. What difference does that make?
Yeah, and that's such a good question, Delinda, because so many people think that our style is frivolous. And then some women in the Christian community think that it's considered vain. But in reality, the Proverbs 31 woman, she dressed with fine linen and purple. And she just, really was into, selling fabrics and looking good and showing up. And there's a power in it because, and I believe she recognized it as well, how you dress impacts how you feel. And when you feel good and confident in who you are, that helps you to impart love on others, on yourself, and to serve people well and to show up as the best version of yourself. And I feel like so many of us have experienced this in a way where we've shown up to something and maybe we're not feeling super confident in what we're wearing. And for whatever reason, that item that we're wearing is taking our attention away from the situation. So instead of fully being present and enjoying the conversation or seeing how can I serve, we're thinking, oh, this top, I gotta straighten it out. Oh, I don't know. We're fidgeting with the sleeves or, we're messing with the neckline because we're just not comfortable. We're just not loving what we put on our body. So it can really be a distraction in that way. And, style communicates a big message to, if you're in business, your branding, how people see you, how they respond to you. We're all visual beings. That's how we've been created. And we definitely make a lot of judgments based on the first impression. A lot of times it doesn't come from a mean place. It's just, how we survive, how we take in information. Is this person safe? Are they trustworthy? Do I want to give them my money and buy their products? So it really does communicate so much and does so much for us that I feel like to say that it's frivolous or vain is doing yourself such a disservice.
Absolutely. Comment, Lisa. I see you smiling and shaking your head, so I know you're like, yeah, Gabby, that's right.
Well, and this is coming from a casual person. Like if I could live in sweats, I don't live in. That's my personality, so I tend to be more confident in casual clothes. So, but what I'm saying here is what I've learned about that casual clothes thing. There's work between A and B of getting to know somebody. So by wearing and stylizing yourself to who you are and being comfortable with it, it kind of closes that gap of how hard we have to work to network. Does that make any sense?
It makes total sense. And I feel like that aligns with the first impression. And there's been so many studies out there. And I feel like there's an exact number somewhere, but I cannot remember. But we make like a crazy amount of assumptions the first time we meet somebody. And like, I'm sure most of the viewers are making assumptions about me. I hope they're all good. But it's just reality. That's just how our brains are hardwired. And it comes from, do I know this person? Do I like them? Do I trust them? Can I, like you said, it kind of reduces the barrier a little bit when someone's like, oh, well, this doctor looks put together. So maybe, you know, I can trust them to cut me open, you know, or I know it's extreme case, but would you feel so comfortable if your doctor came with like sweats and a tomato sauce across his sweatshirt? You'd be like, what is happening? You are not cutting me open, right? We have a lot of
this is a bad question to ask me because, like I said, I'm the casual cookie here. But the the thing is, I understand what you do, but I do have a really interesting question for you. You close the gap between you're worried about your appearance and like you can never, because you're so worried, you can never get to that feeling comfortable no matter how perfect. Because I know people who try on 50 shirts in the morning and they can't find the right white shirt. I don't know if that's something you guys have heard, but it's in the industry. How do you get past being too obsessive about your appearance versus like feeling comfortable in your skin and giving a good impression?
I love that so much. And it's so funny because it's kind of a deep answer. But Lisa, such a good question because it doesn't have to do with anything about that shirt. It has so much to do with how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself. And I think when I do a lot of work with women, a lot of times they've been just bombarded with false messages of, you know, what confidence really looks like, what looking stylish looks like what's what's that standard of perfection that is impossible to meet and get it, that keeps on moving. So you think the line is here. So like, if I just do this, then I'll look perfect and I'll be accepted and I'll be stylish and I'll be applauded. Right. And then before you know it, that line moves. That's out of style. That's not trending. You look dated. And so there is this element of really getting to know who you are within, you know, and who God says you are. That's most important, you know, and living out your life for the applause of one, like for Christ, you know, and realizing you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. You're not going to make everyone happy. You're not pizza or Nutella. Like, people are not going to be like, this girl's amazing, everyone you meet. And understanding that that's okay. You're not for everyone. And also understanding what it is that you like, what makes you feel good, what speaks to you, your inner self, what's a physical representation of who you are inside. And I think too, you have to, don't compromise your values, don't compromise who you are to try to fit into this perfect standard or mold. And so my advice to that person would be like, let's just take a minute from picking out the white shirt and figure out really what's going on. Take a minute to like really do some self-analysis and say, what is it that I'm not loving here? And then, you know, maybe we have to start there and do some gratitude work. We need to remind ourselves of truth. We need to, you know, just really zone in on our values and who we are and then go from there. Does that help?
That's a great answer.
Yeah, and I think too that is part of that when we really accept ourselves. So there's multiple things that go on with this whole thing. When we can really accept ourselves as who we are and who God made us to be, when we get our value through what He says, and that's what you were talking about, Gabby. Part of that. That changes everything. So once you are comfortable and know in your gut that you are just being you, being proud to be who you are, and that is right now, today. Now, that doesn't mean that if we want to get healthier, that we can't make different choices about what we eat and the exercise we do. It doesn't mean that we don't want to learn more, like maybe you don't know how to do YouTube as well as Kathy or all the other things. We can still keep learning, but today we need to love ourselves as Christ loves us. And that changes everything. Now, when you go into your closet feeling that, then what you put on, it's still important. I think it's very important. And I'm just going to be, y'all know me enough that when I'm out, when I'm being the speaker, when I'm being the leader of the group, I got to have my high heels on. I mean, that is just me. That makes me, when I put on my high heels, I feel like in charge of the room, and I feel confident and happy. And I don't know why high heels make me feel that way, but they just do. And so we all probably have those things, maybe a certain color. And if you don't know those things, that's why Gabby's here. We have also here in Vegas, we have Chiquita who does that as well. Finding out, that's a learning thing, finding out what style I don't wear because my body shape right now does not warrant it. Things that tuck in and that are very tight, because if they did, I'd have a little roll going over things, and I don't like that look. So I wear things that flatter me in a different way. But finding that out, because then that makes your outer self feel as comfortable and confident as you are in your inside. Yeah. And I loved what you said about doing the shoulders and the whole. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I've got to where if I put something on, if by the time I've left the house, if I've had to fiddle with all of that, then I'm going to go change, because I know that's what's going to happen the whole morning or the whole time at lunch. It's like, just put something on and, get the right undergarments, get the right bras, right the things, so you can be comfortable and confident in the clothes that you're wearing.
I love that. And I love too, kind of what you're hitting on. And I see Grace's comment, like just needing direction on what is appropriate. And that's, knowledge is power. You don't know what you don't know. And I think where I was getting at was, if you're struggling so in depth where it's so hard, like the concept of the white shirt, which I knew exactly what Lisa was saying, there's something a little bit deeper than that. Then asking a question as far as, okay, what color flatters my undertone, or what body shape, how should I my body today, body shape that I have today? What are some silhouettes that work for me? What are some fabrics that just will look lovely on my curves? Like, that's just knowledge, and it's fun, and it's great, and it works. But also there's a flip side to that. I can give you all the right advice, everything I learned, through my studying in New York and color analysis and training. I can give you all the right answers. And if I tell you red is your power color and you put it on and you hate red, okay, it's not going to work, even though that's like the correct answer, but it does not make you feel good. It does not make you feel powerful. There's a difference there. Or, for example, if I am dressing you in a way that, flatters your body shape and the colors are all right for you, but you still don't feel good, that's a heart issue, or, you haven't discovered your style. But most of the times it's a little bit deeper than the external. And I think with women, I find that's why I only work with women, because my history is very much in that, where I came out of a lot of body image issues. I had to get counseling, just a lot of things with my image and seeing how I see myself. And it's so funny when I work with women, a lot of the times it goes very deep. And we see a lot of women unearth and get set free from these lies or things that the world has told them, things that they've believed since they were little girls. And now we really bring that out so that we can create a style, a brand, a vision that makes them feel good and makes them feel powerful, and are communicating all the right messages that they want to communicate to this world. And it's life-changing. People have said, this has changed my marriage. Like, what? One of my clients was like, I have just been able to look in the mirror. For years, I have avoided looking at myself in the mirror. Like, that, to me, I just did a happy dance, I feel like, and a shout, because wow, like it's just very, very powerful. The change that this can bring about in someone's life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's big.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and what Grace said about sometimes you need direction. I'm one of those people who needs directions, because like I celebrate when I get out the door and my top doesn't clash with my pants, and and so like my sister, because we're up here as a family, we were looking through. My mom had a vast closet of clothes. She was one of those that was the 50 white shirt person. Anyway, I'm looking at this closet, and I'm telling you, it's 2 walk-in closets jammed of clothes. And I'm thinking, what I would wear out of here, because they were asking me if I wanted to take a few things. And my sister goes over there and she just goes, choop, 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 and she puts this outfit together and she holds it up here, see? And I'm thinking, wow, I'm going to put my sister in my pocket and carry her with me, and she can just get out when I get dressed in the morning, because, I'll be like, Kim, it's time to dress me so that I can get that guidance, I was it actually was a matching outfit that would make me look pretty good when she picked it out. I could have never seen it.
No, that's awesome. I feel like we all have our different strengths and giftings and talents and passions. So it's cool. It's cool to see like, hey, my sister came in and helped me put together an outfit I love. Awesome.
Well, and I can fix your computer, maybe your car, but
there you go.
I pick out an outfit to save my life. So,
well, you always do pretty good on our Thursday lunches, Lisa. You always look great. And I think you could have her come visit and put outfits together and just say, this goes together, this goes together, this goes together.
I've actually thought about that after this experience.
And again, I love that you said that, Gabby, because I think that's true. Everybody does have different giftings, and my husband is colorblind, so it's very hard for him. So he has learned that this shirt with the whatever on it goes with these pants. So sometimes he'll come in and say, so is this okay? Where he's kind of randomly picked out something himself that he, that isn't his normal. And my heart goes out to him every time. It's like, it must be so hard to see the world like this. I don't know what that looks like. But it's, so I just say, no, that's a green shirt, not a red shirt, because green and red are the same. Which has nothing to do really with what we're talking about, except that he knows, and it doesn't embarrass him. And, it's like he just knows that he can't tell those colors. And so he just asks me about it. So, but finding someone to, to help you figure that out, the difference, if we go strictly from looking at it appearance wise. So we talked about the heart. And so that's where all of this, and I think confidence is the most attractive thing about any person. It's, and whether they dress perfect, I don't even, it doesn't even make sense, dress perfect, because there's not a dress perfect, as you said. But when somebody walks in the room or you meet someone and they have confidence, I mean, there is a difference in how you stand. There's a difference about where you look, or do you look directly at people? There's how you stand, how you walk into a room, how you have conversation. When you're confident, you don't talk about yourself so much. Yeah. When you're confident, you're wanting to bring out those things in other people. One of the great tips of networking, is that it's all about the other person, and just that whole thing. And when I just love it when a woman, as you were saying, Gabby, when you help her see herself differently. When I was at Mary Kay, same thing. I had women who would sit at the mirror and not even want to look at themselves. But when we were finished, and I always did very subtle, I never took them from, no makeup to nighttime drama, and never did that. A nice daytime look was great. But when they could look at themselves and smile, they go from not wanting to look in this very down face to, oh my gosh, and feeling, for that moment in time, to feel good about themselves. Just that is so rewarding. So anytime we can help a woman gain confidence, I think is amazing.
Absolutely.
So Gabby, what's your biggest transformation story in your clients?
Oh, one of my biggest transformation. Oh, there's so many. I would say probably the woman that I referenced a little bit before, that she said she couldn't look in the mirror, and she's gone through a lot. And a lot of the times, this woman's particular, but I feel like a lot of women do this. We internalize and receive and keep and hold on to what is spoken over our lives. Mm-hmm. And we fall right into believing those lies and accepting them as truth. And sometimes it just takes this hammer to break through this wall that has just got them trapped inside believing, something that is so not true. And it's when these women come to me, that's a big step in and of itself too, because what I do is very intimate work. I mean, we are talking about, your strengths, where your weaknesses, where do you want me to draw the eye? Where do you want me to draw the eye away from? What do you feel good in? What do you feel, what is your style vision? And a lot of that can be triggering for some women. And I remember asking her, what's your favorite feature? Which is something I asked the women I work with. And she stops. And she's like, nothing.
Oh.
Like anything. Yeah. And, she said that she couldn't look in the mirror for so long. And she was rehearsing all the lies back to herself that people have spoken over her. And, but she knew that she has a business, and she knew that, and she needed to be front of camera. People want to do business with a face. They want to see you. They want to feel like they know, like, and trust you. And she had this dream that was bigger than her fears and bigger than the lies. And she's like, I have to bust out of this because I want to show up for other women. I want to show up for myself. I want to show up for my daughter. She had a daughter at the time. And that was one of her fears.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, that was one of her fears. She's like, I don't want my daughter to have this, vision of herself or this thought like that I've, taught her not knowing, sometimes they like catch things, these little ones. They catch things. You're not really telling them, but they'll just pick up on these things and make it their own. And so for her, we really had to work slowly and move slowly. And we did a full transformation as far as her closet. I shopped for her. Then I did a follow-up session with her. And then that was the moment where she was like, Gabby, this is incredible. Like, I'm looking into the mirror. I'm liking what I'm seeing. She's like, I'm, just so happy. She goes, this is not the norm for me. I'm usually not able to put outfits together. I'm usually returning things all the time. I'm saying horrible things about myself in the mirror. And so this was like a new way for her. She was able to see something new, and it empowered her to show up for her business, for herself, and for her family in a way that she hadn't been. And so that, to me, will always stick with me, that story, because it was just such a dramatic change that the Lord blessed me to be able to just play a part in. So
it sounds like it's like you find these shoe boxes and then you open it up and you take these little shining stars out of the shoe box and let people see it. It just kind of sounds so wonderful.
No, it is such a beautiful, beautiful work. Like, it is definitely a passion of mine. And I feel like the world that we live in gives us so many false messages. And so I often say this to my husband when I'm talking, and I'm like, if the Lord were to take me out of this, just someone else rise up and do this work. Someone else, just as long as the work is being done, I am happy. I want women to see themselves the way God sees them. I want the next generation to be different. It's sad. Confidence in our world is being applauded for how much skin you show. That's an indicator of how confident you are. And people are being applauded and celebrated for posing nude because they are brave and confident and powerful. I want a different message for the women. And I want a different message for our daughters. I want them to be celebrated for who they are, for how they love, for how they show up, for how they serve, for their what they bring to the world, the beauty that they bring, and not have to compete with such horrible standards that the beauty and fashion industry has put on us as women.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think a lot of that messaging that they see on TV or even on social media, there's so much that whole comparison thing that just pulls them down, which starts early. If we can get this message out to the teenagers and the young women going up in their 20s, so they can deal with some of these things, as opposed to me in my 40s and 50s, still learning the lessons. But if we can pass those messages along to the young women, it would be just wonderful. And I think what you said about the moms, it's so important. It doesn't matter, y'all. This is one of those release. I had to release this a while back. It doesn't matter what we say. They are not listening to what we say, but they're watching us every day. You know, how do we treat people? How do we take care of ourselves? Do we treat ourselves as important? Because if we don't, they're going to think that's the right thing. If we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't, go for our dreams, whatever that looks like. If our daughters are seeing us always hold back and never making, stepping into what God has for us, then they're going to think that's the right thing. Even though we might be saying over here, blah, 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 the two don't mesh. So they're always going to go with watching us and living with us every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So us moms have moms and grandmas and even, best friends. If you're not a mom, I bet you have nieces and nephews who are watching you, and maybe you're the favorite aunt. And the reason is because you're the one that goes for it. You're the one that's setting this example for what they want to be. So it's like we've heard this before. We're a book people are reading. They're watching us and reading our story as we go along. And what messages do we want to give? Yeah. So anyway, we are at the top of the hour. I just can't believe it always goes so fast. Gabby, what wonderful things you've shared with us.
No, thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I loved it. Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Lisa, any last things you'd like to say this morning?
Well, like I said, coming from a casual cookie here, it really is about being comfortable in your skin. And I think Gabby's done an excellent has had an excellent discussion about how and why that's true. But that said, I challenge people to kind of think about and get out. Oh, we lost her. And get out and hire people like Gabby, because like I said, my sister was so able to see things that I could not, and it will enrich what you're doing. It's not going to detract from you. It's not going to make you, well, it shouldn't make you feel like you're not perfect. This isn't about not being perfect, really. This is about clothing and style, telling people who you are. It's more like, what it might be is kind of like a writing style, like an author, where you can tell the same story, but each author tells it a little different, and it has a piece of their soul in how they tell that story. So, I go ahead and contact Gabby so that you can find out what your style is, what your personality is, and be able to communicate that to your audience.
Absolutely. And Gabby, I don't think you're able to put your info in the chat right now, but when we go off, would you put your info, and when people are watching it, have it there so they can contact you, and they need to get to know you. You're an amazing young woman. So I love that. I love how God brings us all together. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. So cool. From across, like I said, the US.
I know. It is great.
That is amazing.
So everyone out there, I hope that you enjoyed, and I love it. Grace said, it's a perfect talk for International Women's Day, which is tomorrow. And I'm actually interviewing all day long tomorrow from 7 o'clock to 7 p.m., both morning and evening. Every 30 minutes, I'm interviewing women who want to share their story on the International Women's. It's called Voices of Women. And I think I may have some links out there. I'll put that in my thing too. And I think it's free, y'all. I think it's free. You can pop on and just watch different people. And there's an amazing keynote, which, my brain, y'all know me. I don't remember details if I don't have it right in front of me. But I'll put the link for the Voices of Women if you want to just take some time during the day to listen to some inspiring women that are out there, because there's so many. I think we actually have, oh my gosh, 60, 70, 80 speakers. There's like 10 different tracks with women on each one. And I'm the interviewer for the 6th track, as well as I will be speaking as well. But there's a lot of things going on for International Women's Day. So we want you to celebrate who you are. Celebrate who you are as a woman in Christ. Celebrate who God made you to be. Whether you think everything about you is perfect, nothing's perfect anyway, so let go of that. But just be the best you can be every day. Just get up and be thankful to be alive and just make those decisions as you go along. Because my favorite saying is, life is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of choice. So choose wisely, go out there, choose yourself, choose to be that best version of who God created you to be, and walk in his light, walk in confidence as you go. So bye, y'all. Have a great week. We will see you next week. Gabby, thank you. Thank you. Nice to see you, Lisa.
Thank you.
God bless. Love you guys.